ဟုတ်ကဲ့ပါမဟုတ်ကျွန်တော်ဟုတ် intro လေးစပြောလိုက်ပါမယ်နော်ဟုတ်အားလုံးပဲမင်္ဂ
어,
လာပါအခုချိတ်တဟူရဲ့ကြောင်းလျှောက်ကြမယ့် webinar series 18ခုမြောက် webinar ဖြစ်တဲ့ How to Build a Passion Project အဲ sharing session ကနေအားလုံးကိုကြိုဆိုလိုက်ပါတယ်ဒီနေ့ရဲ့ guest speaker ဖြစ်တဲ့မတ်ယွန်ဒီနေ့ရဲ့ guest speaker ကတော့မတ်ယွန်ရဲ့ဒီဖြစ်ပါတယ်မတ်ယွန်ရဲ့ဒီကဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အခုလက်ရှိမှာ Stanford University မှာ Computer Science Major ကိုတက်ရောက်သင်ကြားနေတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်အာဒီနေ့ရဲ့ guest speaker ဖြစ်တဲ့မတ်ယွန်ရဲ့ဒီကိုfloor လွှဲပေးပါတယ်အမ presentation စလို့ရပါပြီဗျ
okay, 민가와. 저는 Yuma. Um, I think I'll be talking in English if that's okay with everyone. Just give me one moment for me to share my screen. Okay. Right, sorry about that. Okay. Can you guys see?
ဟုတ်အမမြင်ရပါတယ်
Um, so today I just wanted to talk about how to build a passion project. But before we get into that, let's first talk about what is a passion project. So a passion project is something that is driven by your own motivations, your interests, and your passions. So it's good because it demonstrates your own self, your own skills, your own creativity, and sometimes it can have a larger impact. Sometimes it's just because you want to grow as a person. That's cool as well. But I would recommend this because it gives you if it gives the admissions people a little bit more insight about who you are just beyond your grades and standardized tests. Um, so yeah, I think မြန်မာလို့ဆိုရင်တော့ passion project ဆိုတာဝါသနာပါတဲ့တစ်ခုခုကိုလုပ်တာပေါ့ um သူကဝါသနာပါတာဆိုတော့ ဒီဝင်ခွင့်ကျောင်းဝင်ခွင့်ကိုရှောက်တဲ့အခါမှာကျတော့ ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ essay တွေကိုဖတ်တဲ့လူကအိုဒီကျောင်းသားကကျောင်းသားဒီကျောင်းစာအပြင်ဝါသနာပါတယ်ဝါသနာရှိတယ်ဆိုတာကိုသူတို့မြင်ကြတာပေါ့နော်ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ကျွန်တော်ကတော့ passion project ကိုလုပ်ဖို့အရန်အားပေးပါတယ် Oh my god. So နောက်တစ်ခုကတော့ why build a passion project ဘာဖြစ်လို့ passion project တစ်ခုကိုလုပ်မှာလဲဝါသနာပါတဲ့ project တစ်ခုဘာဖြစ်လို့စလုပ်မှာလဲဆိုတော့ the first thing is to stand out so as the years go on the application pool is just becoming more and more competitive and so you want to stand out like you want to differentiate yourself um, and you want to be unique basically and the second thing is you want to show initiative universities are now looking for people with drive, with determination, and people who will are able to start things. And the third reason is you want to get to know yourself better. Sometimes, even if you're not applying to universities, it's just good to figure out what you're passionate about, you know? ဆိုတော့ဘာဖြစ်လို့ဝါသနာပါတဲ့ project တစ်ခုကိုလုပ်တင်လဲဆိုတော့ပထမဆုံးအနေနဲ့ဒီရှေ့ဆက်သွားမယ်ဆိုရင်လေ university ဝင်ခွင့်တွေကပိုခက်လာမှာအရှင်ကြတော့ဒီတောင်းချီလူတွေထဲမှာကိုကဘာလို့ခေါ်တင်လဲဘာဖြစ်လို့ကိုကဝင်တင်လဲဆိုတာကိုဝါသနာပါတဲ့ project တွေလုပ်ထားတော့ပိုပြီးပြောလို့ရပါတခြားလူတွေနဲ့တိတ်မတူဘူးပေါ့ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ကိုကိုရွေးတင်တယ်ဆိုပြီးပြောတာပေါ့နော်နောက်တစ်ခုကတော့ university တက္ကသိုလ်တွေတော်တော်များများကသူတို့ကျောင်းသားတွေကိုကိုယ်ပိုင် drive ကိုယ်ပိုင် determination ကိုယ်ပိုင် skill တွေအရင်ရှိနေတာပေါ့နော်ရှိနေတာပေါ့ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ initiative ပြတဲ့အနေနဲ့စတင်ပါတယ်နောက်ဆုံးအနေနဲ့တော့တက္ကသိုလ်တွေမလျှောက်ဘူးဆိုရင်တော့မှကိုဘာဝါသနာပါလဲဘာကိုလုပ်ချင်လဲသိရပိုကောင်းတာပေါ့နော် Sorry, I'm having troubles with okay. Okay. Oh my God. Sorry, I just got a new laptop and I'm like struggling with how it works. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Okay, I think I figured it out. Okay, cool. Okay, so the first step to building your project or like building a passion project is discovering your passion. It seems really obvious, and it kind of is, but it is the first step. You need to figure out what you're interested in, what excites you, what do you do in your free time, what do you do without your mom having to yell at you, right? And so it's just about what you like, really. Your passion is just what you like, what excites you. Hopefully it's something related to major because you're going to be spending 4 years studying it. But yeah, it's just your interests. And the second step is to look for gaps within your community. So figure out areas where you want to make a meaningful contribution. What do you want to change? What about your community do you think you can improve, right? And I think sometimes, so the second step is kind of really important as well, but sometimes people don't really want to do something about their community. They want to do something so that they grow as a person, and that's completely fine as well. But the first step, if you're trying to build a passion project, is to ask yourself these 2 questions. Figure out what you're passionate about, and then figure out what kind of change you want to make. So ဝါသနာပါတဲ့ project တစ်ခုလုပ်ဖို့ဆိုရင်တော့ပထမဆုံး step ကတော့ဘာဝါသနာပါလဲဆိုတာကိုအရင်မေးရမှာပေါ့နော်ဒီ step ကအရင် obvious ဖြစ်နေရလို့ထင်တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့အရင်ကြီးပါတယ်ကိုကဘာဝါသနာပါလဲဆိုတော့ဘယ်ဟာကိုလုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာအရင်ပျော်ရွှင်မှုပေးလဲဘယ်ဟာကိုကြိုက်လဲဘယ်ဟာကိုအရင်နှစ်သက်လဲဘယ်ဟာကိုအမေမစူဘဲနဲ့လုပ်လဲပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါကိုအရင်ဆုံးသိအောင်လုပ်သင့်ပါတယ်ပြီးတော့မှဒုတိယအနေနဲ့တော့ကိုရဲ့ပတ်ဝန်းကျင်မှာဘယ်လိုနေရာတွေကိုပို့ပြီးတော့ပြုပြင်ပိုကောင်းအောင်လုပ်နိုင်လဲဆိုတဲ့နေရာတွေကိုစဉ်းစားသင့်ပါတယ်ပြီးတော့မှကိုဘာလုပ်ချင်တာလဲပြီးတော့ဘာကိုပြောင်းလဲချင်တာလဲဆိုတာကိုစဉ်းစားပြီးတော့မှတခုဖန်တီးနိုင်မှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်တခါလေကြာရင်လူတွေက passion project ကိုလုပ်ချင်တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ community နဲ့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ပတ်ဝန်းကျင်နဲ့မသက်ဆိုင်ချင်ဘူးအဲ့ဒါဆိုလေရပါတယ်တချို့ရဲ့ passion projects တွေကကိုပို့ပြီးတော့ကို grow ဖြစ်ဖို့ပိုပြီး skills တွေတိုးတက်ဖို့ဆိုပြီးတော့လုပ်တဲ့လူတွေလည်းရှိပါတယ်အဲ့ဒါဆိုလည်းအဆင်ပြေပါတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ဒီ community တခုကိုကကူလိုက်တယ် improve လုပ်လိုက်တယ်ဆိုရင်တော့ပိုပြီးတော့application အနေနဲ့ဆိုတော့ပိုကောင်းပါတယ်ဟုတ် So dutiya step 2 set a clear goal so first it's very important that you clearly define what you want to achieve like I think sometimes people go into making a passion project, but they aren't exactly sure what their passion project is. And so you don't want that. So not a good example, but an example can be, I want to create a sustainable fashion brand for eco-conscious consumers. So you have an idea of like what you want to do. And the second thing is make it measurable because obviously you like doing it, but also if you want to put it in your applications, which I'm sure most of you do, you want to make it measurable. You want to be like, oh, I created X amount of content. I reached Y amount of people. I did this, I did that. And so you want it to be like tangible. You want it to be tangible. And the third step is make sure that it's achievable with the resources and time you have. Sometimes students tend to like overestimate the amount of time you have in your junior and your senior year when everything's really packed. So make sure that your passion project is not like, oh, I want to solve world hunger or like I want to bring world peace, you know, make sure that it's something that's achievable within the time frame that you have. Um, so ဒုတိယအနေနဲ့ကတော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ passion project ကဘာ goal လဲနောက်ဆုံးပန်းတိုင်ကဘာလဲဆိုတာကိုအာသိသင့်တယ်အဲ့တော့ဒီဟာဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်က fashion brand တစ်ခုလုပ်ချင်တယ်ဘယ်လိုလူတွေအတွက်လဲဆိုတော့eco conscious ဖြစ်တဲ့လူတွေအတွက် fashion brand လုပ်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်လည်းဒါ clear goal ပေါ့ဒီ example ပဲကိုကြိုက်နေတဲ့ကိုဝါနာပါတဲ့ဟာကို clearly ဘာလဲဆိုတာကိုသိသင့်ပါတယ်သိအောင်ဒီ step မှာလုပ်ရပါမယ်ပြီးဒုတိယအနေနဲ့တော့ measurable ဖြစ်ရမယ်ပေါ့သူကကိုယ့်ရဲ့ project ကလူအယောက်ဘယ်နှစ်ယောက်ကိုကူညီလိုက်တယ်ဒါမှမဟုတ်ဘူးဆိုရင်ဘယ်လောက် percent like ရှာနိုင်လိုက်တယ်အဲ့လိုတခုခုရည်လို့ရတဲ့အရာပေါ့နော်application မှာကိုယ်ချပြလို့ရတဲ့အရာဖြစ်ရမယ်မဖြစ်ဘူးဆိုတော့ဖြစ်အောင်လုပ်သင့်တယ်and then တတိယတစ်ခုကကျတော့ဖြစ်နိုင်ကိုရှိရဲ့အချိန်နဲ့ကိုရှိရဲ့ resources နဲ့ဖြစ်နိုင်တဲ့ဟာကိုပဲစူးစမ်းပြီးလုပ်သင့်ပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်ကကဘာကြီးရဲ့ကဘာကြီးကို peace world peace လုပ်ရှင်တယ်ဒါမှမဟုတ် world hunger ကို solve လုပ်ရှင်တယ်လို့ဘာလို့အရင် achievable မဖြစ်တဲ့ဟာကိုအချိန်ရှိလောက်နဲ့ achievable မဖြစ်တဲ့ဟာတွေကိုမရနိုင်တဲ့ဟာတွေကိုမလုပ်သင့်ပါဘူးဖြစ်နိုင်တဲ့ဟာကိုလုပ်သင့်ပါတယ်ပေါ့နော် Okay, third step, make it authentic. Choose something that's true to you, not just what you feel like the admissions officers want to see. If you don't care about nonprofits, don't start a nonprofit. If you don't care about volunteering at orphanages, don't volunteer at orphanages. Don't do things that you think people want to see on your applications because there is no perfect application. It's just about who you are. So don't do things just because your friends are doing it if you don't want to do it. And I think it's important that you incorporate your own personal voice and personal opinions, personal perspective, because at the end of the day, it's your passion project, is your passion, and is your project. So it's very important that you don't just like, I don't know, get it off of Google or get it off of ChatGPT. Make it personal, make it yours. And really, at its core, authenticity is so important and it will help your passion project stand out and resonate with whoever reads it or whoever is working with you. So yeah, make it authentic. But yeah, passion project ရွေးချယ်တဲ့နေရာမှာလည်းတခြားလူတွေလုပ်နေလို့ဒါမှမဟုတ်ဘူးဆိုရင် application officer ရောဒါကိုတွေ့ချင်မှာပါငါ့ရဲ့ application မှာအဲ့လိုမစဉ်းစားပါနဲ့ဘယ်ဟာကိုတကယ်ကြိုက်နေတဲ့လဲဘယ်ဟာကိုပျော်လဲကိုလုပ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာဘယ်ဟာကိုတကယ်ဝါသနာလဲပါလဲဆိုတဲ့ဟာကိုပို့ပြီးတော့အလေးထားပါတကယ်လို့ငါ့ရဲ့တငယ်ချင်းတွေအကုန်လုံးဒီနေရာမှာ volunteer လုပ်နေတယ်ဒီဟာလုပ်နေတယ်အဲ့တော့ငါလည်းလုပ်တဲ့နေဆိုပြီးတော့မလုပ်ပါနဲ့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ personal voice ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ personal opinion ကအရင်အရေးကြီးပါတယ်နောက်ဆုံးကြရင်ဒီ authentic ဖြစ်တဲ့ဟာကိုနဲ့connect ဖြစ်တဲ့ passion project ကပဲတခြားလူတွေနဲ့လည်း connect ဖြစ်တာမှာအဲ့တော့ကိုလုပ်ချင်တယ်မှာကိုလုပ်ပါ Okay, sorry. Oh gosh. Okay, perfect. Step 4, plan and organize. So this is important, arguably the most important step there is, because if you don't plan, if you don't organize, you're probably not going to get it done. So the first point is you probably should develop a project timeline. So be like decomposition if you're doing CS. It's so much easier to break it down into smaller tasks and then tackle each one of them and then it becomes a whole thing, right? So maybe it's kind of like first stage is research and then you're going to prototype and then you're going to test and then you're going to like market it, right? So develop a project timeline by first breaking it down into smaller tasks. And then it's also important that you have regular progress check-ins. So be like, oh shoot, it's like the 21st of May. I should have done my prototyping already. Am I done with that? Kind of thing. Just regularly check in with yourself to see if you like are sticking to the timeline. If you're not, why are you not? And then the second part is to identify the necessary resources. So before you start, you need to be like, what do I need? Do I need funding? Do I need materials? Do I need tools? Do I need software? Do I need a type of hardware? Do I need wood? Do I need steel? I don't know. Like, what do you need? What are your necessary resources? And how are you going to get them? And if you're organizing an event, like think about the venues, think about marketing, think about partners, just think about everything that you need to build this. And then the third point is to create a workable schedule. Like high school is a lot of work. Like no matter what curriculum you're doing, it's a lot of work. You have like 10 extracurriculars going on. Like you're playing volleyball, you're playing chess, you're doing this, you're doing that. So it's so important that you balance your work, your project, and your passion project with everything that's going on. So yeah, just be realistic about how free you are, and don't over commit yourself to so many things because that's just not very good. Okay, so step 4 Carol, plan ဆွဲတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်အရင်ဆုံး project timeline တစ်ခုတည်ဆောက်တင်တယ်လို့ထင်တယ်ဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲဆိုတော့ project ကဘလို့ project ပဲလို့ကြီးမှာပါ project ကနည်းနည်းကြီးမှာအဲ့တော့အဲ့ project ကိုပို့ပြီးတော့သေးမွားတဲ့အစိပ်ပိုင်းတွေကိုခွဲဖြတ်လိုက်ပြီးရင်အဲ့ဘယ်ချိန်မှာဘယ်အပိုင်းကိုပြီးရမယ်ဆိုတဲ့ဟာကိုကို timeline ဆွဲတင်ပါတယ်ပြီးရင် timeline ဆွဲပြီးချက်ပြီးသွားနေတဲ့အချိန်မှာဒီဆက်လုပ်နေရဆိုလဲကိုကနိုဝင်ဘာ21ရက်နေ့ကျရင်ငါဒီဟာပြီးရမယ်ဆိုရင်တကယ်ပြီးရလားဆိုတော့ကိုလည်း progress check in လုပ်တင်ပါတယ်ဒုတိယအနေနဲ့ကတော့ဒီ project ကိုငါလုပ်မယ်ဆိုရင်ဘာလိုအပ်လဲပေါ့ necessary resources ငါပတ်စံလိုလားငါဘာလိုလဲငါ software လိုရလားငါ hardware လိုရလားငါ lab နေရာမှာအလုပ်လုပ်ရမှာလားဘာလိုလဲဆိုတာကိုမစခင်တကစဉ်းစားပါပြီးရင်ဒီဟာကိုဘယ်လိုရအောင်လုပ်မှာလဲဘယ်ကနေရမှာလဲဆိုတာလဲတခြားရင်စဉ်းစားပါတကယ်လို့ event တစ်ခု organize လုပ်ရှင်နေဆိုရင်ဘယ်မှာလုပ်မှာလဲ marketing ကဘယ်လိုလုပ်မှာလဲဘယ်သူတွေနဲ့လုပ်မှာလဲအကုန်လုံးအရင်ကြိုစဉ်းစားပါဒီအနေနဲ့ကြာရင်high school ကအရင်ကြီး busy ဖြစ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာကိုကအကုန်လုံးလုပ်နေရတယ်အမှတ်တရလည်းထိန်းထားရတယ်chess ဆော်ရယ် ballet လုပ်တယ်ဟိုတော့ဒီတော့အကုန်အများကြီးလုပ်နေရတယ်အဲ့ချိန်ကျတော့တကယ်ကို depression project ဘာနာပါတဲ့ project ကိုတနာယူဘယ်လောက်လုပ်နိုင်လဲတပတ်ကိုဘယ်နှစ်နာရီလုပ်နိုင်လဲဆိုတာကိုrealistic ဖြစ်ပါအရင်ကြီးကို like 9နာရီ like 10နာရီလုပ်မယ်20နာရီလုပ်မယ်မလုပ်နိုင်တဲ့အရေးအတွက်တွေကိုစစ်ဆိုင်ရှင်က organize လုပ်တကမထည့်ပါနဲ့ okay step 5 start small and slowly scale up so it's very important that you start with a manageable project so it could be a blog it could be a community event it could be a website it could be software just something that's manageable something that's not like huge like because we all have to start somewhere small and I feel like if you were like, oh, I want to build this huge thing, you'll never really end up starting because you're so intimidated by all you have to do. And so it's fine. Just start with something small and you can build your way up. Like Facebook wasn't made in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. So yeah. And the thing is, you will learn as you go. Like no one knows how to do stuff until they do stuff. So you should use your mistakes and the feedback from the people that you ask feedback from, which is an important step as well, to change and to make your project better. So if your first initial plan isn't like the best plan ever, like you'll be fine. And the third thing is you will iterate that. You will make mistakes, you will learn from it, and you will gain experience, and you will scale your project to have a bigger impact. That's just always how things normally go. So step 5ကတော့စစချင်းတော့တသိမမွားပဲစပါပြီးတော့မှအဆင်ပြေရက်နဲ့ပို့ပြီးတော့ကြီးလာမှာပါပေါ့နော်room ကတရက်ထဲနဲ့စောက်ထားမှာမဟုတ်ပါဘူးအဲ့တော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ project ကိုပထမဆုံးလွယ်လွယ်ကူကူ blog လုပ်တာပဲဖြစ်နေ community event ဖြစ်တာပဲဖြစ် website ဖြစ် software ဖြစ်တခုတသိမမွားလေးနဲ့ပဲရင်စပါပြီးတော့မှကိုရှောက်လို့ရင်းနဲ့ကိုအဖြစ်တွေ like mistakes တွေလုပ်မယ်ပြီးတော့ရှားလို့ရအိုးနင်တရားပြင်သင့်တယ်တော့ဘာညာဆိုရင် likeကိုလောက်သွားရင်လည်းပိုကြီးလာမှာပဲအဲ့တော့ experience ရလေကိုယ့်ရဲ့ project ကိုပိုကြီးလောင်လုပ်လို့ရလေပဲပေါ့နော်ဟုတ်စစချင်းတော့အဲ့လောက်ကြီး like အရင်ကြီးမမကြီးလည်းမစပါနဲ့တဖြည်းဖြည်းနဲ့အဆင်ပြေသွားရင်လည်းကြီးမဖြစ်လာမှာပါ sorry. Okay, step 6, show impact. So passion project ဆရာနှစ်ခုတစ်ခုဖြစ်တယ်လေပထမဆုံးဟာဖြစ်မဟုတ်ဆိုဒုတိယဟာဖြစ်ပထမဆုံးဟာတော့ demonstrating real world relevance or တကယ်ဒီကဘာကြီးထဲမှာဘလို့ impact ရှိလိုက်လဲပေါ့ example ကတော့ငါ volunteer initiative လုပ်ပြီးတော့တကယ်ကိုငါတို့ရဲ့ city ထဲမှာ homeless people တွေကို6လအတွင်းငါတို့စလုပ်တာတဲ့6လအတွင်းမှာရင်ကိုတပတ်ကို120လူကိုကူညီနိုင်ခဲ့ပြီပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါဆိုရင်တကယ် real world မှာတကယ်ရဲ့ကဘာပေါ်မှာရင်ကို like ပြောင်းလဲမှုတစ်ခုရှိနိုင်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ဒုတိယအနေနဲ့ကတော့အဲ့လိုမျိုးပထမဆုံးဟာကိုစိတ်ဝင်စားအောင်မလုပ်ရှင်ဘူး like ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ interest နဲ့မသက်ဆိုင်ဘူးဆိုရင်ဒုတိယလုပ်လို့ရတယ်ကိုကဒီ project ကိုလုပ်လိုက်တဲ့အတွက်ဘယ်လိုပို့ပြီးပို့တော်လာလဲဘာ skill တွေရလာလဲဘာတွေကိုတင်ယူလိုက်လဲပေါ့တကယ်လို့ example အနေနဲ့မင်းကeco friendly product တစ်ခုထုတ်လိုက်တယ်ထုတ်ပြီးတော့တကယ်လို့အဲ့ eco friendly တစ်ခုကိုလူတွေကိုမရောင်းချရင်တောင်မှကိုက product design အကြောင်းသိလိုက်ပြီ material engineering အကြောင်းလေ့လာလိုက်ပြီ sustainability user testing အကြောင်းကိုကပို့ပြီးသိလာရပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ passion project ကတကယ်ကြီးမားကြီးဖြစ်ပြီးလူတွေကိုမကူညီနိုင်ရင်ဒါမှကိုယ့်ကိုကူညီနိုင်ရင်အဆင်ပြေတယ်ကိုကဘလို့တင်တခုကူညီလို့ပဲကိုယ့်ကိုကူညီရလဲကူညီရပဲအဲ့တော့ကိုကတခုတင်ယူလိုက်တယ်ပို့ပြီးနားလဲရတယ်ဆိုရင်ဒါ passion project ရဲ့အောင်မြင်တယ်လို့ပြောလို့ရမှာပေါ့နော် so step 6 is showing impact so you can show impact through one of two ways you can either demonstrate real world relevance or you can highlight your own growth throughout the project if you really want to go all out if you can do both of these things if you check both of things off like it's phenomenal good job but the first is having some real world impact right if you in this example like you let's say you organize a volunteering initiative and you supplied and within 6 months of launch look see measurable you can measure that you helped 120 people per week it's a measurable thing step 3 or 4 anyways so that's like a real world impact you're actually helping someone out there this is great but if that doesn't actually align with your goals and you want to focus more on your own growth that's completely fine too if you learned something new if you learn new skills that's completely fine as well so the second example is if you're designing an eco-friendly product and you haven't launched it commercially so it's not like you have sales or you have revenue or anything but you learned about product design you learned about material engineering you learned about sustainability you learned about user testing and that's completely fine as well so it just has to be one of those two things or both of them but yeah it doesn't always have to be I like help so many people like it you can help yourself and that's completely fine as well it's more about what you learn throughout the process of the passion project as well and it's about taking initiative it's about the fact that you weren't sitting there and you weren't doing your math homework well you did your math homework but now you don't want to do math homework you want to do something with your passion and that's the initiative that people want okay so step 7 is to showcase and document so write about the project well you will write about the project in your applications but more specifically I think it's important that you talk about why you started why do you care about this why are you passionate about this and what did you learn from it and how does it connect to the rest of the application and so for my application I didn't really apply for CS I applied to I basically structured my entire application around this one theme of creation for impact so I like to create things in general I like making pots I like making friendship bracelets I like sewing I just like making things in general and so my whole application was centered around creation and how I like the impacts that my creations can have on the wider community and the people I love so when I say that it should connect to the rest of the application it doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to connect to your major it just needs to connect to who you are and what kind of application you're trying to craft so the second thing is to focus on growth admissions officers obviously previously like in the previous example they care that you helped 120 people per week but they also care that you learned about communication skills or you learned I don't know, event planning or time management. They care about the skills that you learned, and they want to know how this project has helped you develop those skills. Oh wow, I spelled skills really badly there. Anyways, but that's the point. You need to focus on your growth. What did you learn? And that's very important. That's arguably one of the more important things about passion projects, actually. Okay, step 7. Now so step ကတော့ကိုလုပ်ထားတဲ့ဟာတွေကို application မှာရေးဖို့ပဲပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့ application မှာဘာဖြစ်လို့စလုပ်တာလဲဆိုတာအရင်ရေးကြည့်ပါတယ်ဘာဖြစ်လို့ဒါကိုပါဒနာပါတယ်လဲဘာဖြစ်လို့ဒါကိုစိုက်နေတတ်တာလဲပြီးတော့ဒီအလုပ်နေနဲ့ဘာကိုသင်ယူခဲ့လဲပြီးတော့ဒီဟာကတခြား application နဲ့ဘယ်လိုဆက်လဲဒီဆက်မှုကအရင်ရေးကြည့်ရလို့ကျွန်တော်အနေနဲ့ထင်ပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ application ကဆိုတော့ပြီးတော့ rest of the application ဆိုတာကိုယ့်ရဲ့ major ကိုပြောချင်တာမဟုတ်ပါဘူးကိုယ့်ရဲ့ application မှာဘာ theme ရွေးထားလဲကျွန်တော် application မှာcreation through impact ပေါ့မဟုတ်ပါဘူး impact through creation ပေါ့ကိုကျွန်တော်ကပစ္စည်းလေးလောက်တာဟာကိုအရင်စိုက်တင်တယ်အဲ့တော့အင်ကြီးချုပ်တယ်လက်ကောက်တွေလုပ်တယ်အိုးတွေဖုတ်တယ် like ကျွန်တော်ကဒီတိုင်းအခု software လေးဆွဲရပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တခုလုပ်တဲ့ဟာကိုအရင်ဝါသနာပါတယ်ဘာပဲလုပ် like နေ့စီစိုက်ဘာပဲဖြစ် like တခုလုပ်နေရတယ်ပြီးတော့ကိုလုပ်ရတဲ့ဟာရလာတခုထွက်လာမယ်ပြီးတော့အဲ့ရလာတခုကတခြားလူတွေကိုပျော်ရွှင်မှုပေးရင်ပေးဒါမှမဟုတ်ဆိုရင်တခုကူနေနိုင်တယ်ဆိုရင်ကျွန်တော်အရင်နဲ့တက်တယ်အဲ့တော့အဲ့ဒါကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ application တစ်ခုလုံးကြီးကိုကျွန်တော်ကဒီဟာကိုလောက်တာကြိုက်တယ်ဆိုရဲပုံစံနဲ့ရေးထားတာအဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ passion project ကလည်းအဲ့ရဲ့ larger theme နဲ့ connect လုပ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ theme ကဘာလဲဘလို့ဆက်မှာလဲဆိုတာအရေးကြီးပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်တို့တော့အရင်ရေးကြည့်ခဲ့ပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ဒုတိယအနေနဲ့တော့ focus on growth ပေါ့admissions officers ကဟုတ်တယ်လူပနေရောက်ကိုကူညီလဲဆိုတာသူ queue site ပဲဒါပေမဲ့ဘာကိုပို queue site လဲဆိုတော့ဒီဟာကိုလုပ်ရင်လည်းဘာကိုပိုသိလာလဲဘာတွေသင်ယူခဲ့လဲဘာတွေပိုတိုးတက်လာလဲကိုယ့်ရဲ့ဘဝထဲမှာကိုက time management ကိုပိုတော်လာလားတခြားလူတွေနဲ့လှုပ်တာဟောပိုကျွမ်းကျင်လာလားစကားပြောတဲ့အချိန်မှာပိုပြီးတော့အဆင်ပြေအောင်ပြောနိုင်ပြီလားဘာတွေရခဲ့လဲဒီ project လုပ်တဲ့အတွက်အဲ့ဒါကိုသိချင်ပါတယ် Okay အဲ့ဆိုတော့ဒါပါပဲမေကုမေးချင်တယ်ဆိုမေးလို့ရပါတယ်ဟုတ် This is the end of the presentation if you have any questions please feel free
So yeah, I'm just like wondering, so these days, there are like many students who are strong with their extracurriculars, who are good at like doing projects like initiatives, and their academics are good too. They're pretty good too. So like, I have experience in like the interviewer, the admission committee, they once asked me, like there are like many students who did extracurriculars, who did the projects, like those passion projects, and with like good grades, just like me. And they asked me how do I differentiate from them? Why do I, deserve this scholarship rather than the other applicants who have the same skill sets as me? So what would be an appropriate answer for that kind of question? And if we also want to talk about how we have those points, how we have those both personal growth and the impact on the community at the same time. What could be a good answer for that kind of question?
It's a wonderful question. G, I'm assuming. Okay, so let's unpack this. It's a wonderful question. And it's a common question you get on scholarship interviews. You're like, why do you deserve this? And why not the other 1,000 people that are applying for this thing if you all have the same stats? To that, I would lean into my niche. And your niche is basically what you're passionate about, except you should try to have a niche passion. So if I were asked that, I would be like, that's completely true. But I feel like with my previous experience, I am more, I would just be talking more about what I'm passionate about in terms of like the education system in Burma. and what I've done previously to help that, and how that's different from literally any other applicant because it's one of the like first ever platforms. So I would try to make my passion as niche as possible. And so that could be a talking point.
Oh, I see. I see. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So hi, I was just wondering what exactly you did for your passion project, since I want to take an example, sort of.
Cool. That's a really valid question. So for my passion project, I had this really weird conversation with my best friend. And I basically told her that she should learn coding so that we could code together and we can build cool projects. But then she told me that the coding resources in Burmese are actually quite expensive, and that she didn't want to do that because monetarily it was just not okay. And so I was like, oh, that's crazy. And so for my passion project, I created 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐿, which is one of the first ever platforms that offered Python programming courses in Burmese, like completely at your own time. Like you can just watch videos and then you can have like a whole quiz thing and then like kind of see where you're at. And it's very self-paced. And so yeah, I created that. And then within the first week, I think I had like a couple hundred users on it. And yeah, that was my first thing. It was creating a platform that offered Python programming courses in Burmese for absolutely free. Yeah. And then after I got a really good response with that creation, with people using that, and it becoming recognized by other scholarship things as well, I was like, oh, cool. So people like this. And so I am now working on 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐿, which is a much larger project than 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐿, and I'm still currently working on it because it's a large undertaking. And 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐿 is going to teach GCSEs, pre-GCSEs, and A levels in Burmese, completely free of charge as well. I think there's going to be a small fee if you want certification and that like quizzing features, but the videos itself is going to be free. And so yeah, my whole passion project was the Burmese education system and how I can make it more accessible and scalable and use edtech to solve the educational problems that Burma is facing. And I think it's important that you're actually passionate about this because like I'm in uni right now and I'm like dying with uni stuff, but I'm still really passionate about 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐿 and I'm still currently actively working on getting funding for that.
Oh, I see. Thank you very much for your response.
That's cool.
Hello.
Hi.
I want to ask, when you're doing passion projects, did you work alone or did you collaborate with other people? And if you did, how did you manage like a lot of people in your team, if you had one?
So my first project, 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐿, was just absolutely just me and myself and I. It was just completely myself, which was challenging in its own way because you have no one to blame. No, it's just a lot of work to do it alone. But for 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐿.org, it's just so large that I couldn't do it alone at all. So I recruited my brother, who's very interested in edtech as well, and one of my friends as well. So I would say recruiting people is just talking about your project, and some people you talk to will just be naturally inclined to work with you. And most of the time it's going to be your peers, it's going to be your friends. So yeah, just talk to people about your project, and sometimes they'll be interested, sometimes they won't be, and sometimes they'll want to team up with you, and that's how you normally collaborate. Yeah, for me it was just my friends and my like brother, but now we have a few teachers through 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐿.org that are like part of our like wider team, and with that it's just you just talk to people and you just make it work, I guess. But yeah, I think you should be fine. You just should talk to people and then they'll just be like, I want to join kind of thing. Especially if you're doing it for admissions. People love that stuff. there isn't like a forum that you go on to or like anything. It just most of it just happens to like talking to people. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. So I wondered, how did you showcase your passion projects through the application? So I'm new to this kind of application. So I want to know, like, is there any portal when you can list your passion projects, or is there's so how you showcase your passion projects through your personal statements, or is there any particular essay that the university made you write regarding your passion projects?
Wonderful question. So, your passion project, you'll be able to, if you're applying to US universities, you'll be able to list like 10, up to 10 extracurricular activities that you've done. And so your passion project will go there as well. So you can just be like, this is how much time I spent on this project, and then like a short blip about your passion project. And then you can also include it in your, so different universities have different essay prompts. So some of them will be like, oh, like how have you contributed to your community? Or like outside of work, like what do you do for fun? Like they're going to be slightly different depending on what kind of universities and what universities you're applying to. And so you just should read the prompt and be like, this is most appropriate to write my essay, like write about my passion project. So like, and sometimes people do put it in their personal statement, but I would say that it doesn't, if your passion project isn't directly related to who you are as a person, you probably shouldn't put it in your personal statement. But if it's completely like, if it's necessary and if you feel like your passion project is crucial to the person understanding part, like who you are, then go ahead, put it in your personal statement. But they have essays that are more better prompted for passion projects than your personal statement.
Yeah, I see. Thank you so much for your
Cool.
ဟုတ်မှာနောက်ပြီးတော့Q&A session ထဲမှာမေးခွန်းလေးရှိပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်မေးခွန်းလေး
ဟုတ်
ဟုတ်ကျွန်တော်ဘက်ကဖတ်ပြပြအောင်
ဟုတ်ဖတ်ပြလို့ရပါတယ်
Oh, the first question is like, I would like to know how many times and how long you need to record videos for your RISE scholarship project. Could you also share the duration of your final project presentation video? Additionally, how many online interview did they conduct regarding your project?
Okay, I think I finally found the Q&A thing. That's cool. Okay, okay, my RISE project era was quite a while ago, so my memory might be not the best. But I remember recording like 4 to 5 videos. It was like one for your prototyping, one for your like testing, one for building. Like it was just like different stages of set timeline that I said in step 3, 4. But it was just about like how you went through that. And I think they were like a minute or two each. Yeah. And my final project presentation video, I'm not sure if they had that in my year, but I think there was one online. Okay, well, there was 2. No, there was actually just one. There was one online interview that was like 6 hours long. But within the interview, it's just not you talking to, it's not just you talking to like an interviewer. You have like, it's like a whole day. It's like you team up with other people, you present stuff. It's just like a whole, it's like the interviewing stage is quite a while long. Like the actual interview is like 10 minutes long, but the interviewing day is like 6 hours long, and then they ask you to do other stuff. Yeah. But I'm not okay, cool. Do you mind sharing your education history, such as your A-level GCSE results? Ooh, interesting. Okay. So I did my GCSEs and my A-levels. I think my A-level results, I did 8 A-levels. I mean, I didn't do 8 A-levels. I did 3 A-levels. I did 8 GCSEs. I think I got 5 A stars and 3 A's. And then I did my A-levels. I did maths, further maths, and computer science. And then I also did the SATs. And for my SATs, I got a 1520, but then I super scored to 1540. And I attended MISA, which was previously known as Horizon until, well, for my GCSEs, and then I switched to Harrow Bangkok for my A levels. Yeah, that's like my entire education history. Cool. Okay, hi. I just wondering something. Are passion projects required for scholarships? Like, I'm trying to apply to Harrow International School A levels scholarships this year. Any tips you would like to share? So for that, you don't really need passion projects for that. When I was 16, I didn't have any passion projects. But I did have quite a few, like I did have medals from math Olympiads, which I thought helped. And then I was just involved in like school level clubs. It wasn't very impressive. I think for that, they care more about your interview. They really care about your interview. And then they care about the subject specific tests that you have to take. Make sure that you like nail those. And yeah, it's a lot more like test scores and interview than passion projects because you're like 16. No one expects you to have done anything like super cool. You'll be fine.
Oh, ဟုတ်တခြားမေးခွန်းတွေမေးချင်တာများရှိသေးလားမသိဘူးဗျ
Was it interviews with your respective school or with the Harrow committee? So you get a few interviews with your respective school, and then you get one final one with, if you make it into the final round, you get one with the Harrow committee. But yeah, it's just respective schools first, and then like 12, 13 people per year gets chosen into like the final stage. And then the final stage is when you like talk to like the Harrow committee. Yeah. Do we really need crazy and extreme ECs for top universities? So everyone kind of at this point has like a 4.3 GPA and like just crazy stats. So unless you have a super good sob story, and I'm saying like super good sob story, you need some way to like differentiate yourself. So crazy and extreme ECs are good, but don't do crazy and extreme ECs for the sake of doing crazy and extreme ECs. Do them because you like them, or focus on doing things that matter to you. And I'm pretty sure if you do things that matter to you and you're passionate about, you will end up eventually at a university that you will love. So yeah. Is Rise accepting applications for 2025? I see no signs of it on their website. So this is the thing. I got an email saying that they might not, they will be they might be stopping cohorts, and that this year was the last year for applications. Yeah, I did get an email saying that. So yeah, I think it might not be accepting applications for this year, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that was what they told me. So yeah. Shall I do the project that the community really need, like doing for underrepresented group, or the project that I'm truly passionate? In my college essays too, shall I show my passion projects or projects I have done for underrepresented groups? Okay, so it does depend, as in, you have a theme, right? Whatever your theme is. Okay. Wow, sorry. I was reading another crazier direct message. Anyways, so 𝐏𝐸𝐸𝐢, love your first name, by the way. Says, okay, so for that, I would say, does your underrepresented group project relate to your larger theme of like your application? And I would still say do something that you're truly passionate about, just because if you're truly passionate about something, it will show in your application. And in your college applications, like they will ask you to write a lot of stuff. So there is room to write to write about both, really, to write about something that you're really passionate about or something that you just did for an underrepresented group. There is prompts and you will be able to write both of them. So don't worry about that. You'll be fine. So yeah. And your college applications show both if you've done them. And if you are choosing one, I actually like, I feel like if you're more specific with like your passion project or your projects, I'll be able to better answer your question. Because this is very vague, I don't know what to say. It depends. It depends on the situation and it depends on what your projects are. Okay. 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐨𝐧 says, does drugging my dad so that he won't hit my mom before they're divorced a good sob story? I'm good at chemistry. That's great. Wait. Right. That's very interesting. That's definitely a hook for sure. It's a great sob story, but maybe go lean like you can have your like first paragraph or two be sobby, but then if you're writing this as a personal statement, do make sure that everything else is not sobby and like who you are as a person, because I'm pretty sure this does not sum you up as a person. So like maybe use this to get their attention, but do not make a personality out of this. It's my advice. Okay. So are you class of 2028? I am class of 28. Yes. Okay, no more questions? Question, hi.
I will activities time and our academic lifetime because nowadays we especially students are facing the time management issues because they are attending their high school. On the other hand, they are preparing for their university. Like as soon as they finish their high school, they want to get in college. Yeah, that's why they do extracurricular activities so much. So how should we handle that case, like extracurricular time and our academic lifetime balancely?
It's a good question. And so I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to organizing and planning your time efficiently. I think it's important that you consider how much time it's going to take for you to keep up those academics and then schedule them in first before you go on to extracurricular activities. So it's about priorities. Get your priorities straight and then manage your time according to your priorities. I'm going to say that high school life for me was harsh, as in like I didn't get a lot of sleep most of the time because I didn't really know how to time management very well, and then I procrastinate quite a bit, and so it was just not very well. So if I could go back, I would just maybe not use social media as much as I did. And then I think what I struggled with most was that I didn't know what to prioritize and what not to. And so figure out what's important to you and how much time you want to dedicate yourself to like academics, and make sure that your academics are not slipping until the decisions come out. Well, I mean, normally you wouldn't want to slip anyways, but like before the decisions come out, like make sure that you're at your A game. And that's really important. Academics are really important. And so I would say prioritize that, and then anything that you're passionate about under that. But yeah, organize stuff.
Okay, great. And the next question is nowadays I can see that many students do voluntary works intentionally for their extracurricular activities record in applying college or university. So how should we determine our mindset in volunteering works? Because we want to be getting a university, uh, so we do voluntary works, but our voluntary work is, as you said, not a big deal because they're not super, just a simple and just a small thing. So how should we determine our mindset on volunteering works among other students who are intentionally due for their further studying workout?
I don't fully understand your question. Are you saying what do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, how should we determine our mindset in volunteering works? Because there's so many students do volunteering works intentionally for applying college, because it's an extracurricular record, that's important
So
for.
I feel like you should only do it if you actually care about the volunteering that you're doing. If you're not doing it because you care about it, you're essentially wasting time, because unless you're learning something from it, or you're learning something important, like you're learning a soft skill, or you care enough about this that you're going the extra mile, it wouldn't really matter. So your mindset is important, and if you're only really doing it for applications, I would urge you to reconsider your perspective on things.
Thank you. Your answer benefits for me.
Okay, that's great.
So I see that like many people, the extracurriculars, especially the passion project, it is really popular among teenagers and among the international students who intend to go to study abroad, because it is essential for our personal statement and stuff, a lot of stuff. So what might be the thing that universities would look for in like 5 years, in the next 5 year, or in the next 10 years, something which is not passion projects, because it would become, I'm afraid it might become cliche, because everyone is going to do that in the future, even like compared to like a few years, like 2020, 2022, I projects, but these days it is very popular about you know for our future and for what do you think would be in the applications?
Wow, good question. That's like Miss Universe level type question. I kid. That's a good question. So it's kind of just like with educational opportunities being more widely available. Like 20 years ago, you're right. Like a 1600 SAT or a 1500 SAT would have guaranteed you a spot at Harvard, right? But now it's just not like that. And you're right. In 5 years' time, it's gonna. And so to that, I would say, I think it's just gonna be down to it's just going to be down to luck most of the time, because at the end of the day, you're 16, you're 17, you're 18, and you can't do. There's only so much you can do. Very, very honestly, there's only so much you can do. And so in terms of cool things you can do, passion projects are slightly topping that list. So the only thing that's coming into mind is like very university specific stuff, like summer programs for high school students that specific university offers, or like doing research with one of their professors or something like that. That's like the only next level there is. There isn't anything cooler than taking initiative, I'm afraid. So in 5 years, or in 20 years, or in 30 years time, it's going to be less meritocratic. It's going to be about who has more financial means to do stuff, and it might be about luck. Yeah.
I see. Thank you.
Unfortunate, I know, but sad and true.
Do you suggest doing other extracurriculars like sports or things that's like not really useful for college?
Sorry?
Do you
I
suggest
didn't hear.
doing like hello?
Sorry, yeah, go on.
Do you suggest doing like other extracurriculars like music and sports if it's not gonna be helpful for college?
Sorry. So are you saying should I do music and other stuff if it's not going to be helpful for college?
Yes.
Good question. So it depends on, again, priorities. If you want to get into college more than the thing is, right? There's this guy, Chris Peterson. I'm not really sure what his last name is, but he told applicants to apply sideways to MIT. He's this guy at MIT and he writes blogs for MIT. And that was an interesting blog that I read. And it's about, well, applying sideways. Wait, give me 1 second to pull it up. And what he says is that you should do these three things. You should do well in school. There's only three things you need to do to get into good schools. And it's do well in school, be nice, and pursue your passion. And he thinks that that's true because if you do well in school, you'll be smart and prepared enough for a college education. If you're nice, then all of your letters of recommendation will be good and they will think that you're a nice person. And if you pursue your passion, then you will have developed a love for and a skill at something that helps you distinguish from other applicants. So if pursuing your passion means doing music or dance or whatever it is, then I would say do it. But if you're not passionate enough about it that you feel you will give it up for college admissions, then I think it's at the end of the day, do you care enough about music is the question. If you really care enough about music and you really derive joy and happiness out of it, then continue doing it. But if it's not that deep, then it's not that deep, and you should focus on your college applications and other things that you're more passionate about. At the end of the day, like, time is your most valuable resource, and it just depends on what your priorities are. If you have something more passionate, then spend on that. But if music is your greatest passion in life, then I would say keep doing music.
Thank you.
Hi, Do Min Min Kai. Do you have a question?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I'm at the stage where I'm kind of choosing like subjects for my A levels. So, can you like tell like the A level subjects that you chose, or like how many subjects we are supposed to choose, or how many subjects we should choose? Thank you.
Good question. So I decided that, okay, when I was pursuing my A-level education, I was like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor now. I want to be a doctor in 10 years. I just always want to be a doctor. And so I picked maths, bio, chemistry, and physics. No, actually, no. I picked maths, further maths, and bio and chemistry because I was like, Dr. Girly, where's my white coat? And then 2 weeks in, and then I did all of the subjects, and I decided that I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to do chemistry, and I don't want to do biology. I definitely do not want to do biology at all. And then I decided, oh, I kind of like coding. So why don't I take CS and maths and further maths? So that's how I ended up choosing my A levels. Yeah. So if you know what you want to major in already, and you are like, I am sure I know, like I'm not gonna be like Yoon, I know what I want, then choose subjects that relate to your field, because if you're applying to the UK, then it definitely matters. If you're applying to the UK, you can't change your major afterwards. So you need to make sure that you are taking the right A levels. So what are you majoring in? What are you planning to major in?
I am also a Dr. Girly.
Right, Dr.
Yeah.
Girl. Hey, love that for you. I would say, wait, so what kind of school do you go to? Like, do they have a lot of support for like A levels and stuff?
Um, right now I am applying for scholarship in Harrow,
Mhm.
so I'm still waiting for that. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I hope you get it.
Thank you.
If you're going to Harrow, then I would say do 4, and then if you don't like one, you can drop it for your A levels. Like in AS, take 4. You can do like maths,
Yeah.
like bio and chemistry. Those are like for sure you'll have to take it. You have one leeway. You can do like further maths or physics or like whatever you want to do for the last one. Like you'll be fine. And so take 4 to begin with, and then you can drop 1 later. It doesn't matter, but take 4. But if you're gonna do it in like if you're gonna do it at some other institution where like they don't support you as much, then I would say just stick to 3 and just do 3 because you will die.
Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if you will die because I personally died. I dropped physics my AS year because I was like, no, Newton itself some other place. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Cool.
မှာဟုတ် Q&A session ထဲမှာ question 3 ခုလောက်ရှိပါတယ်
Oh, so how do you ensure that your passion projects stay aligned with your long-term personal and professional goals, especially when faced with challenges or shift in interests? Ooh, good question. The thing is, it won't stay aligned with your long-term personal and professional goals because when you're 16 or 17 or 18, your long-term personal and professional goals will shift like several times. Or at least they are bound to shift. They're not set in stone. And as you grow and you like learn more about yourself, like what you want to do with your life will change. And so you really can't ensure that your passion projects stay aligned with it. But the thing is, okay, so before I did like my like education stuff, I was really into like healthcare. Like I wanted to be a doctor. And so I designed like a facade of a hospital. I think it was like 50-bed hospital with like ramps and stuff. And it was like a cool thing. Like it later got implemented like in real life in Mandalay. It was like cool. And so I still learned a lot about it and I still wrote about it in my application. Like, well, I didn't write about it as much. I still put it in. So like at the end of the day, whatever you do, it's gonna be cool. Like whatever you do is gonna be cool. So sometimes if your goals change and stuff that you did can't really be like a main core part of your application, it will still be supplementing who you are as a person. So don't be scared that your passion project won't stay aligned with your long-term personal goals because it won't, and it'll be fine because you'll still do cool stuff, you'll still learn about it, and you'll still write about it in your application, and people will still read about it, and people will still be like, oh, that's really cool. She's 16 or 17, so I can't really expect her to have one interest only. So like, don't worry about it. Shift in interests are fine. Embrace it. You'll be fine. Did you take CS and O level? So I didn't take CS and O level because my school didn't offer it. I took ICT, which was like close enough, I guess. It wasn't really like programming stuff, but like I was still able to pick it up at A levels pretty well. Like you'll be fine. If you don't do it at A levels either, you'll still be able to pick up CS at university. So you'll be fine. So if you can't do it at O level, you'll be fine. But if you can do it, because CS is great, just do it. Thank you so much. Oh. Okay, that's cool. Where are the other questions? Oh, here they are. What would be your recommendations on what to prepare for your application, such as certificates and qualifications? I have a few friends who are overachievers, and I'm very worried whether I do be good enough. Good question, anonymous participant. Wait, what applications? Like your college applications or scholarship applications? So if you're saying for your college applications, they won't ask you for certification. Like if you get in and they're like suspicious, they might ask you, but that's really rare. Like they rarely ever ask you for proof of the stuff that you say in your Common App. And qualifications is what do you mean, like what to prepare? Like are you saying like what to participate in, or like how to put it in? Like because in Common App you can just like list down your qualifications. What did you personally put? Okay, so I think for the US applications there was like 5 like stuff that you could put in. I put in Rise Global Winner, AISO Scholar, STEM Crest Gold Award, and then like I think I did like silver medals for a math Olympiad. And then I did something else. Like I something about funding, and for like I got funding for one of my ed tech. So I put that in as a qualification, which I don't know if it's cheating, but it's fine. So yeah, that's what I personally put. I have a few friends that are overachievers, and I'm very worried whether what I do will be enough. You'll be fine. Like people, like there will always be overachievers, and I think comparison is something like, I think there's a famous English quote, but it's 5:40 in the morning, so I can't really think about it. But it's like comparison is the thief of joy. So don't compare. You'll be fine. Because even at my school, there are so many people that are better than me. Like there are still people that are better. People will always be better. Okay, that's a sad thing to say, but there will always be people who you feel are better than you, and you will still end up at the place that you're meant to be. Just trust. You'll be fine. It's never that deep. Don't feel sad about it. You'll be fine. What are your opinions on the typical extracurriculars and passion projects? Student council, volunteering, National Honor Society. Definitely not trying to cope with my extracurricular. Definitely not trying to cope that my extracurriculars are fine. Your extracurriculars are more than fine. I would have loved to be on the student council, and I was for a while. And then I got kicked out because I fought with a teacher. That's like long story, but like it's like to be on the student council is cool. You're volunteering as long as you care about the stuff that you're volunteering about, that's cool. National Honor Society is also very cool. Like typical extracurriculars are still good extracurriculars. It's just about your perspective on them and how good your essays are. So like, okay, like two people can have the same exact experience and write a really good essay and a really bad essay. So like it's more about what you learn out of these experiences and what you make of them. It's not about the experiences itself. Yes. Because like you can, okay, there's this one guy who built a nuclear reactor or something in his garage, and he still didn't get into MIT. But like other people who like probably didn't build nuclear reactors and shit in their garage still got into MIT. So it's never about how cool your extracurriculars are. You can still have typical extracurriculars and then write super cool essays and then still be fine. So you're good. Yeah. Also, I also want to stress that college applications, most of it is luck. Like it's just a lot of luck. It's just how it is. Like it's very luck based. Like you can have perfect extracurriculars, perfect GPA, perfect SAT, and still not get into your dream school just because they didn't want Asians that year, or their quota is full, or like something stupid like that. Is a lot of luck involved. So don't take stuff personally. It's never about you. It's just about profit. It's just schools are businesses at the end of the day. So like you'll be fine. Anyways, that's like a tangent. Never mind. It's okay if I add the 𝐿𝑒𝐤𝐿𝑒𝐤𝐿𝑒𝐤𝐿. I have no idea. What is 𝐿𝑒𝐤𝐿 as a status when I apply to it? Can you clarify what you mean by that? Anonymous participant. Okay, anyways, for volunteering works, what can I do in Myanmar? I want to volunteer not only for passion projects, but also because I want to help, but I can't seem to find a place to volunteer. Which volunteer works did you do? Good question. I feel like you should just search something up on Facebook. I feel like everything's on Facebook. But I know about 𝐿 which is this, well, it started out with like cleaning lakes, but then it ended up being like this school type like tutory place. So you can volunteer there, 𝐿. There's also like, I'm pretty sure there's, when I was doing it, there was a lot of like orphanage volunteering stuff going on. But right now I'm very out of touch with that like volunteering community of Burma. But I'm pretty sure if you search it up on like Myanmar, like on Facebook, on Instagram, something with like volunteering in Burma or something will pop up. Also, what are your opinions or extracurriculars that won't seem helpful but is something that I'm 100% passionate in? Like, I love baking, but it's hard to correlate it back to my dream major, biomedical. Dude, I love baking. And I'm completely passionate about baking as well. And so I still wrote about baking. I still was like, well, okay, so I tied baking back into my impact through creation, and I like baking and like creating cakes, and I like the impact that people, that the smile and stuff that my baking could bring to people. And so that's how I connected to. So like you can still correlate it back to biomedical engineering. I don't know enough about biomedical engineering, but I would say if you love baking and you're like cracked at baking, you should put it in. But don't spend so much time talking about baking, but also talk about who you are and why baking matters to you. Like at the end of the day, like it's not about what you do, it's about who you are, right? So tie it back to who you are and why you like baking. Okay. I have found my passion recently, but oh wait, how can we contact you for more scholarship informations and college applications in the future? It's a good question. I don't really give out my Instagram to a lot of people just because it's very social, like it's a sociable thing. And I like to keep it like chill, friendly. But everyone's more than welcome to send me emails. My email is yoonyeti2341@gmail.com. That's YOONYATI2341@gmail.com. And if you send me stuff, and if it's not like midterm season or final season, or if I'm like I'll probably reply. I have found my passion recently, but my background is technical and 4+ years experience. But my true passion is about human resources and helping people. How can I connect this, my true passion and my education background and technical experience, into master scholarship application? Most of the scholarship committee don't like the big difference between your bachelor's degree and your current passion. Wow, it's a good question. Okay, so you're saying that you have a technical degree, so I'm assuming it's like CS or like something within that realm, like I don't know, computer stuff, right? And then you want to switch into human resources and helping people. How can I connect this to my true? Okay, you can always be like, oh, I only did a CS degree because I feel having technical skills and creating software to help people. Like I want to help people, but I want to create like stuff. And the only reason I took a CS degree or a technical background is because I needed the technical skills to properly help people. And you want to help people through what kind of software do you want to write? Like what kind of stuff do you want to do, and how do you want to help people? And you can always tie it back into that. Human resources. Ooh, I actually have no idea how you're gonna tie CS into human resources, but I'm sure there's a way. But I want more information. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by technical? And yeah, what do you mean by technical? Do you mean CS? And why
Hello.
human resources? Like, how did you find out that your true passion is human resources?
Yes. Actually, I've completed my bachelor degrees in engineering, and now I want to switch to like more human resources and like helping people in like I experience a lot of the people um during my careers, and they struggle like most of the things related to the human resource. So I want to switch the professional field, and I found that I have more joyful helping people with the like personal like kind of the HR related things. I have like I feel more joyful than doing my technical things. That's why I like to
So,
switch it, but I have no idea how to connect it, and because I cannot do it with my personal financial things, but I truly passionate about it, and I try a lot of like how can I say, a lot of scholarship application, but my backgrounds, my bachelor degrees and the master degrees doesn't relate it at all. So I have no idea how to do it.
it's a really good question. What kind of countries are you looking at for your master's? Because I understand that some countries really do care about that connection between your bachelor's and your master's degree, and some countries care less. And I also will say that I have very little experience with bachelor and master degree scholarship applications, and so this is going to be pure speculation. But yeah, please.
Yeah. So so I'm thinking about that doing like other connecting passions projects, and to connect with my bachelor degrees and my future intended master degree. But I think it will take time to get the scholarship for master degree. Because I don't have the proven experience connecting to the my future master degree. That's why I'm a little bit find difficulty.
So I think okay, so I think so you're going from engineering to human resources, and that's like absolutely it's really
Yeah,
hard to find a
yeah.
connection. So I think
Yes.
I think my unsolicited advice would be to apply for scholarships and tell them that you did like engineering, but now just like you've learned that you're more passionate about human
Yes.
resources, and that's why you want to do a master's to further explore that passion that you have for human resources, whilst at the same time while you're applying I think you should go for like internships or a job in human resources, like any kind of you need experience. I think if there's no way that you're connected to, it might be helpful to look into internships. It doesn't have to be like super long. It doesn't like or job experience. Maybe you could actually work in human resources and be like, are you sure you want to do this? So, and if the first applications about like to do human resources, and if your first round of applications didn't work out, if you have job experience and if you have done some form of internships in human resources, I think it might like I don't know, it might be better.
Thank you. Yeah. I will
Good
try
luck.
it.
You got this. Okay. I see that Harrow interviews usually contain 2 to 3 stages. Do you think people with 2 interview stages have more chances to get the scholar compared to people with 3 interview stages? Ooh, what do you mean by stages? Like, do you mean like how many interviews you have in terms of like with the school that get into the final? Can you be more clear with what you mean? What do you mean by stages? Do you mean the number of interviews? And if so, do you mean that they had interviews with their respective school or with the Harrow committee? What will be the challenges for students from government school to apply for such kind of scholarships like RISE and UWC? probably the interview. I feel like with college, with essay writing, it's much easier for students with from with more experience going to government schools to write that, but interviews seem to trip people up a lot. So I would suggest just having more interviewing skills, because at the end of the day, interviewing skills are really important, even if everything else is great. Yeah. And that would be the biggest challenge, I would say. But also, I think I'm not entirely sure about the Burmese curriculum and how that translates to like UWC and like what grade level you'll be placed in, but I think you'll be fine. But yeah. Number of interviews. So number of interviews really don't matter. Because like if it's not the final stage, like sometimes you'll get 2, sometimes you'll get 3. It's just more dependent on like the availability of teachers. So it's not a huge concern. The main concern is getting into the final round with the HERO committee. Could you recommend me some books that you've read which would help me improve my communication skills, gain knowledge, and be a fluent speaker? Can you also give advice? Okay, that's a really good question. So I don't really read books that improve like soft skills in general. I normally tend to read books that have a plot and like are good. Like I don't do nonfiction or self-help books. I just do fiction books, and I feel like it will be better because they're more engaging. Like no one really cares about like, because you really only read books if you're interested in what's being said, and no one's really interested in like improving skills. So my advice is, and it's pretty bad advice, I will say, there should be a split between nonfiction and fiction, but I tend to read more fiction, and so I if you like, just read fiction that you enjoy, because like I feel like if they're trying to teach you communication skills, like it's not that deep. Just probably just stick to books that you care about, that books that you like and want to read, like books that are interesting to you. Read those kind of books. I read a lot of Brandon Sanderson, who's a sci-fi author. He's great at building worlds, like magic systems. He's a great fictional author. Yeah. And other ways to improve my overall English. Watch a lot of movies. I feel like it sounds like bad advice, but like if you watch a lot of movies and if you watch it with subtitles, you just like pick up like the way that they like say certain words. So when I was learning English, when I was younger in general, I watched a lot of movies, and that definitely helped me improve my English. Sometimes if you're like really bored, like you can say the words as they say it. Like you can just read the subtitles along with the person, just to because I feel like the problem with a lot of English speakers is like they know what to say, they just aren't very comfortable with using it because they're not familiar with the language. So just speak it as much as possible. So yeah, read books that you like, not books that are like super helpful to you, because it's definitely a process. Like start with books that you like first, and then you can go on to books that are like really helpful. Watch a lot of movies, watch TV shows, and then just try to speak more English. With the HERO community, such as head of sixth form. Okay, you definitely do want to meet the head of sixth form. That's pretty important. Another person says, is there any way to contact you outside of this, like your email or Insta? Yes, my email is, wait, why don't I just like send it here? That's probably smarter. That's my email. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes, I have. And then can I ask you like 2 questions, or is it a bit like a greedy? It's okay. Like it is like okay.
Wait, sorry, what did you say?
Is it okay to ask you for about like a two question?
Sure, of course. Go ahead.
Thank you. And then the first one is about the passion project. It is how do you stay motivated during the time like when your passion project feel slow or like when you are seeing like an immediate result? Because like for me like now I am running the mental health project, especially like with the target audience that I want to work with the Down syndrome people, but the funding organizer just only want to focus on the youth because like they feel like our project is a bit impossible for us, especially for me. Could you please give me like the how to stay motivated or like any tip to persuade the funding organizer?
Wait, sorry, I'm not fully understanding you. Could you repeat the question? Sorry, I'm like a bit out of it.
Yeah, it's okay. Then how about like I will just like drop the question in the chat box.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's perfect. It's just that yeah, it's like 6 a.m. here, and I like pulled an all-nighter for absolutely no reason, so I'm like dying. Okay. So hi, can you tell me how to you attain your scholarships and what I can do as a 10th grader to guarantee one? Okay, so there is really no way to guarantee a scholarship because at the end of the day, it's a lot of luck involved. Like I'm not afraid to say it. Like how did I attain my scholarships? I saw about the scholarships through Facebook, and then I applied to them, and then I went through with their tests, and their interviews, and then sometimes I get them, but I think it's a lot of luck. I'm not even gonna lie. Like it's a lot of luck. It's about having the right people skills in terms of like interviews. And it's about having good grades. It's about doing stuff doing stuff like competitions, like math competitions, like whatever you care about competitions. It's about having good grades and it's about having good interviewing skills. So yeah, just apply and you will fail most of them, you will get some of them, and it's just how it goes. Like there is just no like set way to guarantee a scholarship. How do you stay motivated during times when project feels slow or when you are not seeing immediate results? For me, I have faced with unable to reach out my direct target audience, Down syndrome people, in my recent mental health project because of the funding organizer wanting to focus only on youths. Ooh, that's tough. That is tough, as in, I think staying motivated is just part of what is required because for Down as well, I've asked for funding from like tens of people and I've gotten rejected like tens of times, and I feel like when you care, and I'm pretty sure you care about Down syndrome and you care about your mental health project, and it's gonna suck. Like it's gonna suck hard because you do a lot of stuff and sometimes you're just gonna fail, and that's just how it is. I think the motivation comes from how much you care and how passionate you are about the things that you do, because you're gonna get told no, you're gonna be denied funding, and that's just part of it. So just keep going. If it's not this time, and if you can't reach Down syndrome people right now, you will still eventually do it. Like you'll be fine. Like not today, but I don't know, 2 months later, right? I think if you stop at your first failure, you're really never gonna get anywhere. So you got this. You got this. You'll be fine. Hi, can you give me some advice on what you did to hone your interview skills? I talk in the mirror a lot. Like I talk in the mirror like a weird amount of time. Like I just go into the mirror and I will talk to myself. And that's just all I do. So that really helped me. I was like okay, when I was 16 and I was applying to my AS scholarships, that was how I practiced. I just talked to myself a lot in the mirror. I'm like, tell me about yourself. Oh, hi, my name is Yoon, and I'm a student. I just randomly make stuff up, and sometimes I never have a script. Don't ever have a script. That's like first rule and only rule, never have a script. Like you can have talking points, no script. Scripts just mess you up. Don't do that. But just talk to yourself, to someone, practice a lot, search up interview questions and practice and go through them. They're like the basic ones that you probably always get asked, like what's your biggest strength or what's your biggest weakness, or like tell us about a time you failed, or tell us more about yourself, or why do you want to do this, why do you deserve this, why do you deserve that. They're like questions that you will always get asked. So practice those a lot. Don't create scripts. Have talking points. Be authentic. Be original. Okay, not be original. Be in the moment. Yes. And that's like the thing. Like, please don't script your stuff. Like, if you have it as a script, people will know that you have it as a script, and that's like a red flag. Don't do that. Like, you can have talking points and you can go through the talking points, but there's a difference between reading off of a script and just talking. Are AP exams required to get into top universities? They are quite expensive, so I'm rethinking about doing these or not due to financial situation. I didn't do AP exams because I did a completely different exam board. So you can do IB, you can do AP, you can do A levels, you can really do any exam board, and you can still get into top universities. So you'll be okay. But if you're not doing AP exams, you still need some other kind of standardized testing, like what else are you doing? Are you doing like A levels? Are you doing like what do you mean? Like, you don't have to take A levels, like AP specifically, but you have to take an exam board. Unless like you homeschool, but I'm not entirely sure about how that works. Back in Myanmar, what school did you attend? I went to Horizon International School that changed to Mandalay International Science Academy. But yeah, I went there. I stayed there for like 12 years. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah. A levels. Yeah, you can do A levels. You'll be fine. I did A levels as well. Cool. I think that's it then. Oh, Louis Chun is a competition that G9 students and high schoolers get to compete, and they have to compete with both physical and academic, and it's hard. Let's just say it's a status. Do you think I can use that as a status in my application? Yeah, totally. If it's something that you did as a competition and you got a status or like a medal or whatever, and it's important to you, put it in. Like, if that has contributed to who you are now as a person, put it in. Good for you, man. Congrats. Cool. Do you have any more questions? My roommate is going to kill me, I'm sure.
Yeah. ဟုတ်
Making a lot of noise.
yeah နောက်ထပ်မေးခွန်းတွေမရှိတော့ဘူးဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ကျွန်တော်webinar လေးကိုဒီနေ့ဒီမှာပဲအန်လိုက်ပါမယ်အချိန်လေးတစ်နာရီခွဲကျော်လောက်ရှိပြီဆိုတော့ဟုတ်အခုလိုမျိုး sharing လုပ်ပြီးတဲ့အခါ unity ကိုလည်းကျွန်တော်ချိတ်ကိုစားကျွန်တော်ကနေပြီးကျေးဇူးအများကြီးတင်ပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ဒီနေ့တက်ရောက်ပြီးတဲ့ audience တွေအားလုံးရောမေးခွန်းတွေလည်းတိကျမေးပြီးတော့အမလည်းတိကျပြန်ဖြေပြီးတဲ့အတွက်ကျေးဇူးအများကြီးတင်ပါတယ်ဒီနေ့ webinar လေးကတော့ဒီလောက်အားလုံးကျေးဇူးတင်
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good one and good luck. You got this.
Thank you so much.
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ပါအဲ့ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အမကျွန်တော်တို့မေးချင်တာရှိပြီဒီ organization
ဟုတ်အဲ့ဆိုရင်ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်
ဟုတ်ကျွန်တော်ကလည်းအခုလိုတေချာလေး webinar မှာတေချာလေး sharing လုပ်ပြီးပြောမေးခွန်းလေးတေချာဖြည့်ပေးလို့ကျေးဇူးအများကြီးတင်ပါတယ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဟုတ်ကျွန်တော် meeting လေးအန်လိုက်ပါ